I'm gonna reroute the thermo drive.
Electronic mail failure.
Stored forever in a virtual library.
Computers can't swim.
They can now.
The data termites. The website. It's alive.
Movies
And mainframes.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Movies and Mainframes, the podcast that is going to explore and discuss the representation of technology in media. I am your host, Andy, and with me today is Garrett Gross. How you doing today, Garrett?
Andy, I am so excited to be here again. This is always, the last couple times we've done this has been so much fun. So I've been really looking forward to this.
Me too. And I'm especially looking forward to this episode because, listeners, we are not going to talk about a movie or a particular TV show. We are doing a top 5 list. Yes, we're getting into the listicle game. I've been told it helps with SEO, and and it is something that I do with my friends and family. You know, I love curating stupid lists for discussions and arguing with people of like, you pick that, you're an idiot. So today, me and Garrett have curated our own personal top 5 list, and the theme is hacker movies. So each of us has our top 5 hacker movies, and we will go round robin, starting with number 5 and work our way up to number 1. But Garrett, before we jump into our discussion, I was just curious, what was your criteria? How did you approach this list for you personally? Because I found it very hard to, to what criteria am I going to go with? There's so many things you can consider. How did you approach making your list?
Yeah, first off, this was awful. I can't believe you made me do this. I mean, in theory, this seemed like a very easy task. Like I've seen all of these movies hundreds of times. I'm like, yeah, easy. But you're right. As I started getting into it, I'm like, well, what criteria am I going by? So I'll tell you kind of the combo of criteria I looked at. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, these are movies. So entertainment value. Okay. Second, I'm a hacker. So realism, like how real are these movies? How much of the truth is actually being stretched here? Mm-hmm. And then also just kind of like a contextual piece. How inspired did I get by watching these movies as a kid, as a teen, as a young adult? So kind of a combo of those. There are a lot of great kind of hacker movies out there, but there is a core 5 that was irrefutable. Like, okay, these are definitely in the top 5, but I'm just not sure how they stack ranked up. So I'm super excited to hear your take on this as well.
Yeah, our lists are either going to be exactly the same or just wildly different. But yeah, I kind of have the same criteria. For me to be considered a hacker movie, or for me to put it on the list, it was either hacking had to be featured a lot in the film, or it had to be central to like pushing the plot forward. Right. Even if it only had one scene, it had to be pivotal for the narrative. And then, like you said, entertainment value. Am I actually going to want to sit down and watch this movie again?
That's right.
Because anytime I'm doing these lists, I always, and I'm sure you're the same, or maybe you're not, I don't know. But whenever I'm thinking of these top 5, whatever theme for movies or albums or whatever, I'll have my academic list, because to me, there is that separation of like, I can appreciate, and bad example, but like if we're comparing movies and I talk about Citizen Kane, academically speaking,
brilliant.
It's a masterpiece, and thousands of reviewers have said like, it's the greatest movie ever made. And I'm not going to even argue with that, because if you take in the time it was made, who made it, the reception of it, the production of it, it broke a lot of these barriers, and it did all this crazy stuff. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, am I going to sit down and watch Citizen Kane, or am I going to watch Weekend at Bernie's?
Well, considering that I watched Citizen Kane in like 3 separate film classes and had to write papers on it, no, I don't ever want to watch that movie ever again. But you're right. From a theory perspective, it is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
One of
And
the
so for
other,
my list, it always comes down to like, am I going to pop this on a Sunday afternoon
right.
and actually watch it?
Well, and also there are plenty of like very hardcore technical educational videos on penetration testing, and like those aren't fun to watch. Are they technically dense and like I learned something? Sure. But and also there are other movies out here that maybe they made your list, maybe they did, but they didn't make mine, where hacking was part of the movie, but it wasn't like a central theme for me. Like a good example would be the film adaptation of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Like hacking is central to the plot of that movie, but I don't consider that a hacking film. I consider that like a great film to see, Daniel Craig, not as James Bond, but, also just kind of like a thriller. And one thing I almost forgot, if we're going to do the top 5 hacking movies for the folks that are watching on camera, I have to get a black hoodie on. I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, do it.
Black hoodie is getting donned.
Nice.
Let's get into this, man. Oh, and I do have special mentions, by the way. When we get done with our list, I've got special mentions of like some that might have made the list, but didn't, and why. Yeah.
Same. Very good. All right. Well, I think it is time. Let's get into our top 5 hacking movies, starting with number 5. Garrett, let's start with you and we'll just go round robin. What do you have for your number 5?
I can't believe this one made my list, to be quite honest. Number 5 is the 2007 film Live Free or Die Hard.
No. Yes.
Here's why.
Covered on this podcast in a previous episode, listeners. So
That's right. It's actually a very realistic scenario, while very fantastical. Like that level of pervasiveness, or let me step back a sec. The amount of technology that is now embedded into our daily lives, our national infrastructure, just like everything that we do. This was one of the first films that really kind of shone a light on how much you could actually wreck shop with some sort of nation state attack. Now, yes, it was fantastical. There's lots of, gun scenes and stuff like that. But I mean, this is the first time I think that mass audiences were introduced to a cyber attack of this scale. I mean, it was attacking the power grid, the financial system, the traffic lights, which we know of another very well-known film that does that. We'll talk about that one for sure. But it talks about like, or doesn't really talk about it, but it infers like industrial control systems or SCADA type things that we've seen real attacks on in the past. It was, for folks that didn't know that it was going on at the time, there were actually a lot of nation state attacks that were going on. They were taking advantage of those types of components. So it was weirdly apt for the time. So yeah, that's my number 5. What about you?
Nice. All right. Number 5
or do you want to give commentary on mine, or how do you want to do that?
Yeah, no. So the only thing I will say about Live Free or Die Hard, because I have a whole episode on it, but is that, and I still think about it. It's so weird that I think about this one moment from the movie, is that, Justin Long is the hacker character in this movie. And whenever I believe they're at a like petroleum or gas company, something like that. And, he's trying to stop an attack, and he pulls out a rolled up keyboard, one of those floppy ones that he pulls it out, but they put in the sound effects of clicky clack, clicky clack, clicky clack. No. And it was it just made me laugh so much, for it was like, I mean, I know what the sound engineer's doing, but
right. Like, exactly. I understand the Foley like novel of that, but like that does kind of diminish some of the suspension of disbelief.
Yeah. No, really. Because I saw that movie once before I covered it for the podcast, and it was a lot more fun than I remember. Because I just I went in the second time with like zero expectations, because it was like, it's not a Die Hard film.
It's not a real Die Hard film.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But no, it was a lot of fun to watch. Really, my only complaint about that movie is that John McClane has just risen to superhero levels of, literally taking down a jet. It's like,
Yes.
bro. Captain America did that in Winter Soldier.
That's right.
It's just like, come on, dude. But
I mean, again,
but
that's
no.
one of the reasons why I'm like, I can't believe this made the list because of how ridiculous it is at times, but still weirdly apt for the time.
No, absolutely. All right, number 5 for me. How apropos that you were not talking shit about it, but you were mentioning it. My number 5 is from 2011, directed by David Fincher, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Great film. Even better book.
Yeah. So I've never read the book and I've never watched, is it Dutch or Norwegian? The first adaptation?
Yeah,
But
it's like Swedish or something. I think.
Swedish. Yeah, I think you're right. So I've never seen those, so I don't have the comparison. I just really love David Fincher, and of course love Daniel Craig. And so, that movie for me, the hacking, helps propel the plot forward with Rooney Mara's character, and I mean, it's just Fincher, man. So the combination of the, his cold aesthetic, the setting, his direction, and of course the music, it just hits on all cylinders. And I love, especially because Fincher is either showing you the gritty seediness way up front, or like in this movie, it's just always underneath the surface. So every scene is just imbued with a tension and atmospheric dread until the shoe drops, and then it's like, oh my god,
the big reveal is great. I didn't see it coming. From a cinematography standpoint, that film is gorgeous. Like,
absolutely,
I've not seen many films that just consistently paid so much attention to like shot detail. But my personal favorite thing about that movie is Stellan Skarsgård is like the baddie.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
And I also like that the hacking in the movie really is just investigation and research. She does do some actual like getting into systems through backdoors or, lifting passwords or things like that. But a lot of it is just putting in the time, sitting in front of that screen and just digging deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's which I really appreciate.
That's a good point, because this is not one of the films that kind of glamorizes hacking as this easy. I'm thinking of, swordfish type, hacking.
Where computers are these magical machines that all you have to do is put in this command line and then, it's put my data in replace of this phony identity. It's just like one of those things where it's like, no, man, like stop treating computers as these magical machines that can do anything.
Now, don't get me wrong. I've been in some pretty intense offensive security situations where I had to grab a glass of wine and dance around, in front of my 12 monitors.
Absolutely. While you're smoking a pack of cigarettes. And then I'm sure you finally got your eureka moment, did a little spin, a little shuck and jive. Yeah, absolutely.
God, that movie's so dumb.
So dumb. We are talking about Swordfish, listeners.
Yes, which we did an episode on. Yeah.
It's so good. All right, so that is our number 5. Now, moving on to number 4. All right, Garrett, what do you have for your number 4 hacking movie?
Okay, so not your traditional hacker movie, okay? But the theme of the movie, kind of like the what it's, the message it's trying to give is very much imbued in my ethos as a hacker. And that is the 1999 masterpiece film that is The Matrix.
Nice. Yes.
I love it. There's definitely some, early in the film, there's Neo going through some of the, he's getting hacked by Trinity or whatever. And sure, there's some in there, but then very quickly it gets lost in, the fact that this is a virtual reality type thing. But the reason that I put it on my list is how much that inspired me to learn about things like hacking. I mean, I was already pretty imbued in it already, but like really kind of seeing that as a direction in my life. And at that time, probably not the most on the up and up direction, but still exploring that career path. It was something that motivated me as a hacker.
No, absolutely. And the I mean, dude, and I mean, we've talked about we've been talking about the Matrix for 25 plus years now.
Yes.
And it is crazy to me, and deservedly so. Like, I'm not knocking it. I love that movie. And surprise, Garrett, it'll show up on my list a little later.
Interesting.
Yeah. But it's crazy to me that this movie, that by all intents and purposes should be schlocky and silly and dumb and ridiculous, but fun, and that we're still talking about it 25 plus years later, and it has influenced so much, and you can still feel its tentacles all throughout media and culture, and for better or for worse, and yeah, it's nuts. I remember I went to go see that movie the week after it opened and had zero expectations for it, because whenever I started watching Keanu Reeves, for me it started with Bill and Ted's.
Yes.
And then he had this good run, and I went back and watched earlier things like My Own Private Idaho and stuff like that. And I was like, hey, Parenthood. I really like
Parenthood.
Yes. And then when we get up to, by the time we get to the Matrix, he, after Speed, for me, he was just kind of had a handful of stinkers in a row where it's just like, not for me, not for me. And then I remember the previews where it always ends with Morpheus jumping the building, and he just goes, whoa. I was like, all right, whatever. It's going to be stupid and dumb.
Sure, I'll check it out.
I'll go check it out. And remember walking out of the theater just blown away.
Mind blown.
I had never, up until that point, really hadn't seen a movie that played with the genre so much, like blending different genres. And man, the movie just has a little bit of everything. It's got a romance, it's sci-fi, it's kung fu, it's a big action bullety, shoot 'em up. It's just got everything. And
like great CG that was kind of pushing the envelope. Great
absolutely
techniques. That bullet time thing was created for that film. Like that was also when I was starting to get into like, do I want to go to school for film? And that was also one of the things that motivated me to appreciate how movies are being shot.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it is I still love that movie. Still watch it every once in a while. It is so good.
And the last thing I'll say about The Matrix is that cascading green text thing. How ubiquitous is that now when they're like talking about hackers or the Hacker Anonymous, which I think is just so dumb that people cosplay my job, but whatever. But like that whole cascading green text thing, that's like now part of the ethos or the lore or whatever.
Absolutely. I just watched, I went to a concert a week ago or 2 weeks ago, went to go see Kraftwerk.
Oh yes. Nice.
Dude,
it was are the robots.
Yeah, dude, it was, I went really expecting that there's only one original member left, and he's 81 years old. And so I was like, it's a legacy act. I got to see it just so I can say I saw Kraftwerk. And I went in like expecting to be like, hey, good job, 81-year-old dude, or whatever. Show blew me away. It was awesome. Incredible. And it was the most low-tech, high-tech show I've ever seen, because obviously they were wearing these suits that had like LED grids on them, and and the stage is all LEDs and grids and everything was matching and syncing and doing all these colors. And they had this screen, but they had this ginormous screen behind them, and it was playing the most janky computer graphics because it's their aesthetic.
That's their aesthetic.
So like whenever they play Autobahn, it looked like a Windows 95 screensaver level of graphics of just this VW bug going down this empty road. And it was like, awesome. This is so cool. And the reason I bring it up, and the reason I bring it up is because that when they did the song Numbers and Data World, it started off with the cascading numbers, and I was like, geez, man, even Kraftwerk, who's really was a pioneer of that aesthetic, now they're biting from the Matrix, and it's crazy. It's just
absolutely
everywhere.
Say what you will about the Matrix, but like you said, it was a genre bending film standard defying movie that I think blew all of us away, because I too saw it in the theater. Was just like, what in the hell did I just watch?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. My number 4, kind of an outlier, but I just have to include it. It doesn't feature a lot of hacking, just one very pivotal moment.
Okay.
And it is 1999's, directed by Mike Judge, Office Space.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Wow. I didn't even have that on my radar. But yet, I am right there with you. That was also one of the first films that showed me like, oh, cybercrime. This is a real thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just you got to love the movie. I love that Mike Judge is such a how he shines a light and celebrates mediocrity.
Oh,
he's not even making fun of it half the time. It's just showing like, hey, this is who we are. We're stupid, very mediocre people, And I just love Office Space, that they get the idea from Superman 3.
That was great.
Yes.
That was great.
And then the fact that once they implement it, it immediately goes wrong.
Yes.
And on top of that, there's no investigation, there's no comeuppance, there's no come around with it. It's just mediocrity. It's just, everything corporate and everything gets in the way, and people not doing their jobs effectively. And I absolutely love it.
And Peter like failing upwards was like the funniest thing ever. It was just like, wow. And it wasn't like an anti-hero. It was just like you said, like the mediocre guy that was just, I don't know, winning for some reason. The thing I'll say about Office Space that is a bit much for me is, now that we have worked in software for, 20 years, I now watch it and I'm like, it's kind of close to home.
For real. I mean, the fact that these guys will resort to cybercrime rather than just take control of their own lives.
Correct.
That the fact that they just feel so stuck that they can't even imagine just quitting or changing jobs or applying for something else or just anything else. They're like, oh, well, we could just embezzle from the company. And I love it. And I mean, you watch it, and I've never worked with computers in that way. I've never been a software or hardware guy. But we've all worked in corporate, and it really hits close to home. In Lumberg, it's just
I was just about to say, we've all worked for a Bill Lumberg.
Yep.
Oh, it's so good. Yes.
So good.
I love that film so much. I love everything that Mike Judge has ever done.
So that was number 4. Now we're moving on to number 3. Garrett, what do you got for your number 3 hacker movie?
Okay. So here's where we enter the realm of like obvious choices. And, these were actually again, I knew my top 5 pretty much starting off, but the order is kind of up for grabs. Number 3 is the third film of importance as far as like getting me into actually learning about computers and how to exploit them, is the 1995 cinematic masterpiece, one of Angelina Jolie's first films, Hackers. Now,
yes,
this film has
Hack the Planet.
Everything. It's got neon user interfaces. It's got rollerblades. It's got a hacker manifesto, which all very real things that were highly prevalent at that time. Is the film campy? Of course it is. But, it nailed that emerging, I don't know what you want to call it, cyber counterculture. And this was a rite of passage movie for all of us that were coming up in the hacker space. Like, this was not a joke to us. This is very much like, let's sit down, let's watch Hackers, and then let's go grab some scripts off of, a BBS and try stuff out. Mm-hmm. This to me was like my coming of age hacker film.
Nice. I feel so bad. For me, I got to Hackers late. So I didn't see it when it came out. I didn't see it until probably like 10 years after it came out.
Yeah.
And so for me, whenever I watched it, so since I didn't see it at the age of like 15, 16,
Correct.
I'm looking at it through, now like 10 years later with technology. So the camp and the cheesiness just like overrid everything. And I love it as a time capsule of the fashion, the filmmaking style, the computer graphics and everything that they have on there. And it is a super fun watch. We did an episode a while back on Hackers, and it was a lot of fun to revisit that movie. And like I said, it's just a perfect time capsule. I mean, the soundtrack for that, the minute I watched the movie, I was like, yeah, I need to put these songs in a playlist, and got to listen to my Orbital. Let's do it.
I mean, again, like those songs were ubiquitous. Like that's what we all listened to while trying to figure out what hacking was. Cause I can't even purport to hacking at 15. I mean, I certainly was doing stuff, but I didn't know what I was doing, but we were certainly listening to Orbital and Tricky and Chemical Brothers. I mean, the
thing rewatching the movie after so long, the thing that I really appreciated about Hackers is that the movie's called Hackers, and they do a lot of hacking.
Oh yeah.
Like I was pleasantly surprised because you watch some of these movies and it's like there's barely any payoff, or they don't really show you much. They just show click clack on a computer and then like, oh, a street light changes. But no, they're like showing you stuff and they're doing all these kind of different things. And I was glad that they had like the very beginning hack that they do is all social engineering.
Yes.
Of like calling that security guard and like, hey buddy, blah, blah, blah. I need your help. Otherwise, I'm going to screw up this big deal and I need the password or, whatever it was, the phone number.
And that's
exactly.
That's what we would do in a social engineering context.
Yeah. So they show a bunch of different styles and just really cool. And like I said, Johnny Lee Miller, Matthew Lillard, Angelina Jolie, and then of course, Fisher Stevens.
Fisher Stevens. Yes.
Yes. So good.
So for me, and it wouldn't be fair for me to mention like the things that I don't like about this movie, while the end result is actually things that have been done or people would want to do, like changing traffic patterns or, they changed the load distribution in that tanker to like make it sink. Right. All of the actual hacking is that kind of like bogus, fake bullshit hacking that those of us in the space actually kind of cringe at. But again, I thought about this a lot. Had I seen someone actually like sit down and write Python like on screen, I would have been like, well, this is dumb. I don't want to ever do this. Yeah. But the fact that you're flying through this 3D model of a file system, it was very much like I wanted to be Johnny Lee Miller. Crash Override. I wanted to be him,
Absolutely. No, I mean, you got to make it fantastical. It's like the James Bond of hacking movies. James Bond is, there's no villains in volcano layers. There's no cars that go underwater. You just want the fantastical. There's no spy work, actual spy work done in James Bond movies.
That's right.
So you have to make it fantastical. But yeah, like whenever they get into where, the Gibson is, I mean, dude, it's so ridiculous. There's just like all those panes of, like plexiglass, and there's a huge, not even keyboard, like console with unlabeled buttons.
Well, that was my
they're
favorite
just
part.
Pressing, and it's like, what? Okay.
But the sound that those buttons made was like, boom, 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 boom. I loved that. I was like, this is amazing.
Yep. Good stuff. All right. Number 3 for me, mentioned before, 1999's The Matrix.
Yes.
That is on my list at number 3. We already talked about it, but yes, The Matrix got included if you're talking about hacking movies, man. And
got to.
I mean, I know there was plenty of other media that talked about simulation theory, talked about simulated worlds, especially in books. But I mean, this was the movie, this was the piece of media and content that really pushed it into the public, where everybody was talking about it. And I remember finally having those conversations with just random people at work and stuff was like, oh, sweet. Because I've wanted to talk about this kind of dorky stuff all the time, but but now everybody's thinking about that stuff. Yeah, cool. I'm not just talking about, because I read some blurb in an Arthur C. Clarke book or Asimov or something like that. Now, let's do it.
You could talk about the movie. Well, because, think about it. When Hackers came out, hacking still wasn't like a known thing. Like that was still like a comic book character that people saw on film. No one really understood what actual, that sort of, I don't know, like you said, split reality or using technology to get your evil deeds done. Like that was certainly in the realm of, movies and things like that, but we just didn't really understand that was actually part of reality. And you're right. I think The Matrix kind of brought that to the global discourse, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Awesome. All right. That was number 3. We are now at number 2.
Okay.
All right, Garrett, what do you got?
No surprise to anyone that this should be on my list, especially if you know me, because I am a huge dork about this film. Not as much as number 1, but a huge dork about this film. And this is the first film that I watched that had anything to do with hacking or computers or networks. And that is, I know you know what I'm about to say.
Yeah, I know.
1983's Matthew Broderick War Game.
Hells yeah, that's my number 2 too, baby.
I mean, dude, what a great film.
Yeah.
This is the OG. So phone freaking is what I got into first. I actually wasn't even, I had a computer from a very early age. Thanks, Dad. So I was in that, but like phone freaking was actually what I got into first, because that was much more approachable than writing code at a young age and things like that. So yeah, when you start seeing him do these things on screen, again, this was way before I had any concept of any of this kind of stuff, but you look back at it again and he does war dialing, he does phone freaking, he identifies an exploit in a system, an autonomous system run by a computer. These are all themes that we still grapple with today in national security or, cybersecurity and things like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Number 2, War Game. Yeah, same. This movie was just always on in our house because it was always in rotation. It was always on HBO, TNT, TBS, USA, whatever. And then we had a VHS copy. We went to DVD, and it was one of those films that the whole family enjoyed. Like my dad, my mom really liked it too. And so it was just always on in our house. And I remember always watching that movie and just that sense of, wonderment and danger of this teenage high school kid that gets pulled into, a global thermonuclear threat and just everything about it. The production design when they're in the war room.
Yes.
Joshua Wamper. I can still see Wamper as clear as day with the panning trucking shot.
Yeah. And all the blinking lights and stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well,
no,
think about all the sound bites that have come out of that we still say, like, would you like to play a game? Like, that doesn't die. That is, again, such a genre defining film that really set the hook for me and got me hooked. And what a legend of a film.
Yep. Yeah, I remember I was reading the book Ready Player One.
Oh yeah.
And in Ready Player One, the book, one of the keys is the character has to go into the movie War Games, like it's a 3D rendering of the movie, and he has to act it out perfectly to win the game. And I remember reading that and going like, oh my God, is this book written for me? This is crazy. It was just, such a big part of my life. And it still is. I still put this movie on every once in a while.
The other underlying part about this game is something that I think I missed as a kid watching this at, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years of age, is this was on the heels of the Cuban Missile Crisis, and the message that it sent is the only way to win is to not play at all.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that did not.
I mean, the Iron Curtain was still up. Russia was our biggest enemy.
Yes.
And and then, so in like all the media at that time was during the Cold War was just like there could be nuclear annihilation at any time. I mean, so much so that a dance club hit of 99 Red Balloons, and you listen to the lyrics and it's about nuclear annihilation. Correct. And it's all throughout media. And it's just, and I was too young at the time to, let that really sink in. It's only looking back later where it's like, oh my God, like half of the media I consumed in the early 80s was just that underlying fear of like,
absolutely.
All it takes is one computer to trigger something, somebody pressing a button, whatever it was, of just like, we are literally one command away from total devastation.
Yep.
And it's crazy.
Hey, I'm an ideas man, and I just came up with the idea for your next top five apocalyptic or, global disaster movies. Because again, there's tons of those out there as well.
No, absolutely. Well, awesome. Number 2, we both have war games. All right. And here we are. We're at number 1.
Okay. So this is a very easy number 1 choice for me. I have watched this movie more times than Hackers, more times than War Games, probably more times than any movie out there.
Okay.
I love this movie so much that, spoiler alert, I'm actually learning the main theme so that I can remix it into like a techno tune. The main theme written by none other than Wynton Marsalis. This is the most realistic hacker movie in the universe. 1992's Sneakers.
Hells yeah.
Which features like some of the best actors of the day. River Phoenix, who sadly passed away very shortly after that film. Robert Redford, Dan Aykroyd, this other guy whose name escapes me that I can't think of right now. But again, Sidney Poitier, he was in it.
Yeah, Sidney Poitier, David Strathairn, Mary McDonald.
Yes,
Mary McDonald. You got James Earl Jones showing up at the end. You got Timothy Busfield. Poindexter himself is showing up in this movie. Yeah, no, it is. Yes. If you can't tell by my reaction, it is also my number 1 as well.
Ben Kingsley is in this film.
Oh yeah,
he's Cosmo. Like,
how did I forget him? He's got the sweet ponytail.
Yes,
and the Brooklyn accent that goes in and out constantly throughout the film. It's so good.
David Strathairn, who I didn't really know as an actor, but I rediscovered him watching The Sopranos recently. Like, again, such a brilliant film. So, this was red teaming before pen tester was a word. Like, I don't even think that penetration tester was a name at that time, but that's what they were. They were a security consultancy that those certainly existed back in the day, but no one knew about them. They mentioned the NSA, which again, at that time, I'm not sure that many people knew what the NSA even was or what they were capable of. Even in the film, Robert Redford, who is a part of that world. I mean, I know it's just, for the audience, that Joe Dumb moment, but even his character, whenever he's talking to Timothy Busfield and the other character actor's name, who I forget, and he's saying like, oh, the NSA, you're the guys who are on the other end of my phone line. It's like, no, that's the FBI. You just overthrow small governments and set up dictators. No, that's the CIA. Like, even he's not really sure what the NSA does. That's right.
And so, it's, dude, this movie is, like you said, this is one of the movies for me that just gets everything right. It is my quintessential lazy Sunday afternoon movie. If I don't know what I want, I'm just going to put on Sneakers.
Absolutely.
I can bob in and out of it. It's got comedy. It's got romance. It's got not 1, not 2, but 3 heists in it. And you see them all from different perspectives.
That's right.
It's got a killer soundtrack by James Horner and Bradford Marsalis.
Yes.
And and then the cast is ridiculous. At the time of them shooting this movie, I think there was 3 Oscars amongst the cast.
Yes.
And yeah, it's so much fun. And like I said, I love it because I always love a good heist movie. And if you can give me 3 in one movie, because you have the beginning joke fun heist of them getting into the bank, and that whole setup of like, this is what they do for their job. Then they have to steal Janek's black box, and then they have to get into Playtronics at the end. And the thing I love about it the most is that they show you all the groundwork they have to do, all the surveillance, going to county clerk's office and getting blueprints and plans,
absolutely,
all that stuff that they do. And they never treat computers as this magical machine, because in any other movie, like the whole my voice is my passport, verify me, in any other movie, River Phoenix's character or somebody else would have hacked into the system and uploaded his voice print, and it would have been, of course, just in the nick of time when he's in the booth. And then it would be like, they would do that thing where it's the fake voice and then it blends into his and be like, oh, verified. Like, man, come on. But they don't do that. They have to get up close and personal. They have to do all these methods, and so good.
Well, and like, the subtext to that is again, just like you said, they're showing very real examples of social engineering, dumpster diving, code breaking, things that were not kind of on the map. And again, I want to underscore what you said. Other films would not have treated this with such realism. I can think of like Terminator 2, when Eddie Furlong hacks into the ATM. Like, that was not possible. How did he actually do that? So it really kind of demystified a lot of that. I did like the fantastical nature of it all, that like all these guys were just such at the epicenter of what was going on. But here's the thing, that's actually how that works. I mean, those, I don't know how much, I should go into speculation here. All of this is just, fiction, but nation states, they don't always do their own dirty work. They hire contractors to do things like that. And oftentimes you've got multiple contractors kind of fighting these types of battles. I mean, we've seen that in actual documented, cases in the past. So yeah, I absolutely love this movie. It almost makes hacking cool. Almost. Still a little bit on the fringe, but it does kind of try to make that whole process, look effortless and things like that. So yeah, one of my favorite films of all time. Definitely my favorite hacker film of all time.
Yeah, and to deal with what they're talking about with cryptography and everything in 1992,
correct,
is really cool, because I wanted it was something I pointed out in the episode when we covered that movie. But one thing I want to point out is that when the film takes place in 92, was in 92, and this concept of computers and hacking is so new for just the general mass audiences, that one of the ways that they get in close to Ned Ryerson from Groundhog's Day is that he is on a computer dating website. Yes. And the reason they find that is because they go dumpster diving, because he received a letter about it. Like, there's not even like email's not even a thing and everything like that. He received a physical piece of mail that says, so it's right on that forefront of like showing you what things are capable of. And man, those scenes whenever they're playing with the black box and you have that fun sense of discovery with them that quickly turns into that ominous, like, oh my God.
Yes,
we have essentially a weapon in our, in our possession.
That,
and like Sidney Poitier says, there's no government alive that wouldn't kill us all for that thing.
That is correct.
And it's scored perfectly and it's shot perfectly. It's just I can
hear
good.
The score in my mind right now. That dun, that real kind of suspenseful. Well, and again, this is one of the films, much like Real Genius, where they did the legwork to actually understand what these techniques were. They I didn't dig too deep into it, but I'm sure they had like an actual advisor on there, like telling them what to do. Because again, much like you said, internet dating in 1992, That was not a thing. Like people
Yeah.
didn't just know about that.
Hmm.
People didn't understand. I mean, that this profession existed at all, but let alone like a minutia of internet dating. Yeah, it was just perfect, spot on.
It's funny you mentioned like you didn't really look into it. So surprise for you, the people who are responsible for the research and writing of this film also wrote War Games, our number 2.
Way.
In fact, they got the idea for this movie while they were doing research for the script of War Games, because they found out about these penetration testers. They have a very specific name. Oh, well, no, it's sneakers. Duh, just blank. But they got the idea for sneakers whenever they found out about sneakers in research for War Games. So our number 2s are written by the same pair of people, and I
love that.
Yeah,
I love that
so good.
much.
Yeah, and they get it right. They know what they're talking about.
They absolutely.
And it just has just enough of the fantastical to keep you interested, to keep it a really good, film and movie. But then it's imbued with enough realism and like, oh yeah, I could totally see that happening, or whatever. It's a great blend.
One of my favorite parts about this film is because I was, for some reason, very interested in these as a kid. Was they actually remember when Cosmo takes why can't I think of Robert Redford's character name?
Bishop
Or
takes Bryce.
Bishop,
Yeah.
Bryce, exactly. Takes him into the area where like they can't be heard or something like that.
They're sitting on Crays.
On a Cray supercomputer. Like that was something that I was like into at the time. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I have no idea. I'm sure that was set design and fake, but the fact
it was not.
It was a real Cray.
It was a real Cray. That was on loan, and it was $1 million.
Yes,
just sitting in that room.
Back when $1 million computer, I mean, all computers way back in time cost millions upon millions of dollars because they were rooms full of stuff. But that was the first one where it's like, oh, $1 million computer. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Love it.
No, and then just that scene, that whole scene, one, that the soundtrack during that scene, that's on my sleep list. If I ever like go to sleep to music, it's on my sleep list. It's called Cosmos Discovery, something like that. Mm-hmm. But that whole, I could just eat up a whole movie of them just sitting in that room and talking about, how it works, how the numbers work, who controls the data, controls the world. I just love all that back and forth in that monologue. I'm just eating it up. And I'm just like, yes, give it to me.
Well, and also, and it's all kind of coming back to me now. The real like B&E type stuff, like matching the internal thermostat temperature to the heat sensor that's in the office, like those are real techniques. And the fact that they knew about those and they're putting them in film, again, very awesome. And, the other real redeeming piece of this movie for me is the social commentary at the time, which again, we were still in a cold, whether we were in the Cold War or not, we were still very much fighting each other on the electronic forefront or on the electronic battlefield. And that was kind of cool that was also very much known by those writers and kind of put into that film.
Yeah. Awesome. Number 1, sneakers.
I love it.
Love it. Yeah. So good.
I do have a couple of special mentions. We'll kind of talk through those as well.
Okay.
We did a whole show on Johnny Mnemonic.
Yes.
Johnny Mnemonic is not necessarily a hacker film, but I really appreciated their, like, you could tell that they did the research on kind of like the hacker scene at the time, which again was not necessarily a security scene. It was just let's make technology work and do kind of weird things that we didn't know they were able to do at the time. So I thought that was really cool. Mr. Robot, very great film. I think that kind of got a little overplayed, in the mainstream, but I really appreciated the realism. That
you're talking about the television show, Mr. Robot?
The television show, Mr. Robot.
Yeah.
And there were several people that I know that were actually tapped as consultants for that show that added to that
nice.
realism. Yeah. So that was kind of cool to see that, because again, I really appreciate when someone's going to do the legwork to learn real concepts. And then, again, these are supposed to be entertaining. So you don't want someone just like I said earlier, going through IDA and like reverse engineering malware or something like that. Like no one really wants to see that. But
yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool. And then the other two that I'll mention for special mentions would be Lawnmower Man.
Oh yeah,
and Ferris Bueller.
Just
for the silliness of it all. Because remember, Ferris hacks into his school, back then probably a library system, and changes his grades, which I think we all fantasized about back in the day.
Absolutely. And I mean, the whole movie is just a study in social engineering.
Oh, wow.
It's just every scenario he's in. Yeah. I'm Abe Froman. Oh, Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago.
That's right.
Yeah, for me, whenever I was making my list, some of the ones that came across that I was like, I'm just not sure. Like the latest Mission Impossible movie, which I really do enjoy the Mission Impossible series, but it was just one of those things where it's like, it's got this rogue AI, and there's always plenty of hacking in it and everything. But I was just like, it just feels like a separate genre of just the action-y, whatever. Same goes with. I mean, once you get past like Fast and Furious 6, like they all just feature so much of the most terrible hacking. And I love Fast and Furious movies. I know they're garbage, but it's junk food for me. And I eat them up, but I was
for sure.
Yeah. And then I almost put Hackers on my list, but I didn't because I got to it too late. So that campiness just overrid everything.
Yeah.
Thought about Johnny Mnemonic, but that's just ripe for a remake and really get into that Gibson world.
Right.
And then I started thinking about other, I stuck with traditional hacking with computers, but I kept considering should I consider movies where like other types of hacking are featured, like biohacking and things like that of, like Upgrade or, Existence or something where people are doing things to their own body and everything. But I ended up sticking with traditional, sitting at a console. I think Matrix is about as fantastical as it gets for me. But yeah, it's and the other thing is just being reminded how many terrible hacker movies there are.
I was just about to go there. Like films that would never have made my list. Black Hat. The movie Black Hat.
So boring. And I absolutely love Michael Mann.
Terrible film. Very boring. Very much like I didn't really care about that. Another one conspicuously would never be on my list. Sandra Bullock's The Net.
The Net. Oh, Sandy B.
Which I love her, but
Oh, yeah. I don't even mind the movie that much. It was just like... It just had like no teeth. It felt like a TV movie.
It just sucked.
And the thing that really bummed me is that she's a hacker or, a computer programmer and just does computers, right? And at the end of the movie, there are plenty of opportunities where she could win the day by using computers, but she ends up winning the day by hitting a dude with a fire extinguisher.
Correct. Yeah.
And it's like, what? You're not going to even give her the agency of what she's really good at. So it was just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah. And then, yes, I also thought about Lawnmower Man because that movie is, covered it on the podcast. That movie is terrible, but I do have a soft spot for it because like you with Hackers, I saw it in the theater when it came out. And for some odd reason, it was a very popular like sleepover movie. Hey, I'm going to my friend's house and we go to Blockbuster or Video Giant. And it's like, hey, let's get Lawnmower Man because it's rated R and Stephen King. And we convinced ourselves that, no, this is cool. I
didn't even realize that was a Stephen King adaptation. That is so dumb.
Well, it's so much not an adaptation that he sued to have his name taken off.
Oh, that's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Good for him.
So the only thing that was in common was a guy named Job mows lawns. But of course, Stephen King, he was like this pan, satyr character, mythological character, whatever. And then it was just like, had to sued him twice, because when it came out on home video, they again tried like Stephen King's Lawnmower Man. Like, no, dude.
He's like, no, not mine. Take my name off.
I think he made $10 million because they just couldn't leave his name off. And I'm sure they thought like, well, if we take his name off, we'll only make this much money. But if we put his name on and he sues us, we'll still make more money.
That's right. Yeah, it's the risk acceptance of the movie.
Exactly.
World. That was it. I mean, I really enjoyed this. It made me think about, all these movies, which of course they're all some of my favorite movies I've ever seen. So it was very fun. It was kind of great to relive some of those films, and how much I've forgotten about these films. Just talking with you and bringing all that stuff up. It's like, oh yeah, the scene in Sneakers where they find the letter from the dating site. Like, I'd totally forgotten about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we go, Garrett, remind our audience your top 5 list.
My top 5 list of the top 5 hacker movies of all time, starting with number 5, Live Free or Die Hard. Number 4, The Matrix. Number 3, Hackers. Number 2, War Games. And of course, number 1, Sneakers.
And my top 5 list is number 5, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Number 4, Office Space. Number 3, The Matrix. Number 2, War Games. And number 1, Sneakers. So we had 3 movies in common, and our top 2 were exactly the same.
Hey,
and
man,
written by the same people. So awesome.
That just underscores that you and I were separated at birth somehow, and somehow found each other later on in life.
Awesome. All right, listeners. Well, that's going to do it for another episode. Remember, I always want to hear from you. Head over to thwack.com, look for Movies and Mainframes, and leave us a comment. And you can always reach me at moviesandmainframes@solarwinds.com. Thanks again, Garrett, for joining me. This was super fun. Can't wait till the next one.
Had a blast. Same.
All right, we are going to log off, and until the next time, we will catch you later. Bye, everyone.
Movies
And Mainframes.